Okay, so we won the die roll. We will take the play, playing against Saden Rankin. Wish them luck. Okay, one land hand. With one land hands, I would prefer to have a Quirion Ranger, but we've got Sentinel, Skulk, and Rancor. We're going to keep this. Okay, we'll play Nettle Sentinel and pass. We're going to want to attack with a Sentinel before we play the Pit-Skulk. Okay, they do not have a creature, so our Pit-Skulk will come in as a 2/2. And if we're really lucky, we'll get another forest, and we can play Rancor as well. Although the Ledgewalker is going to be quite strong in this matchup, if we can pump it up. Okay, no land, unfortunately, so we're just going to play the Pit-Skulk. Post-combat, of course. Okay, that'll untap our Sentinel. And the Pit-Skulk will be difficult to block if we put a Rancor on it, but we'd really like to get the Rancor and the Ledgewalker. That'll be the hardest card for them to kill. Okay, we're really looking for a land here. We do not find one. Let's move in for combat. And then we have access to Hunger of the Howl pack, or we can cast the Rancor now. They could have Spellstutter Sprite, so I'm not going to bother. Crash in for 4. Okay. Our choices here are Rancor or Hold Up Hunger. I'm not too thrilled about playing the Rancor right now. Throwing it into a Spellstutter Sprite like that. But they might be on Familiar. It's just leaving 2 islands up at end of turn there is probably a counterspell, and that's one way they get rid of Rancor. Okay, so they're going to cycle on Ash Barrens, and this will tell us a little bit more about what they're playing. Plains, so it looks like Familiars. Okay, there's a Seagate Oracle. They're tapped out now, so we can safely play the Rancor on the Sentinel. And if we get another land, we can even Hunger the Howl pack. If I get a land, I'll probably want to start with Burning-Tree Emissary and then play Rancor. I don't think I want to play Hunger the Howl pack right now. Okay, no land, unfortunate. We'll play the Rancor on the Pit-Skulk, and this will untap our Nettle Sentinel. So slight mistake, I should have put that on the Sentinel. We would have gotten more damage through. So I missed out on potentially 2 damage or killing their creature. We are pressuring them quite well here, though. Okay, and they just have another blocker. So it looks like we'll get another hit before they can answer the Pit-Skulk. Okay, again we miss on land. I think that I'm going to all-in attack here. Okay, they do decide to double block. Okay, they're thinking better of it. We do have the option to Hunger the Howl pack to untap our Sentinel and kill their Oracle, but I think I'll just play the other Nettle Sentinel here, which will untap my other elf. Okay, going for an Archaeomancer here. So it looks like we're pretty close to winning the game. We can get them to 1 if we use the Hunger of the Howl pack. Okay, we find Vines of Vastwood. So we can keep that up as a protection spell for the Pit-Skulk. If they try and snap it. Okay, they're playing Sunscape Familiar. That's fine. And Ghostly Flicker. That's fine as well. It will give them a lot of looks, but they've only got one land left, so their snap will fizzle to my Vines of Vastwood. Okay, they did find the snap. We'll protect our creature and basically win the game with that one spell. Okay, that turned out quite well for us. Let's think how we're going to move forward. We're going to want graveyard answers against this deck. Otherwise, I think that Epic Confrontation could be useful. It is sorcery speed, which means that they could blink in response to it. Gutshot isn't going to hit anything. Viridian Longbow, I think, is not really going to be enough. It's not really what we're looking for here. So we're just going to go with the Relic of Progenitus as what to bring in. Now we have to figure out what to bring out. The River Boa seems quite good. Ledgewalker seems quite good. Nest Invader seems mediocre. Hunger the Howl pack, I think that's also mediocre. Savage Swipe seems good. Vines of Vastwood seems good. So we need one more cut. Maybe the Elephant Guide, because Snap would be quite good against that. The creature would go to my hand, and the Elephant Guide would go to the graveyard. I get no token. Let's try this. Okay, we have another one land hand. Not fantastic, but we could get 2 Pit-Skulks out and put Rancor on the first one so that it can attack through whatever creatures they put up as defenders, and the second Pit-Skulk could use the Savage Swipe. So we are going to keep. Okay, our opponent is mulliganing to 5 cards so far. Okay, so they found a hand they can keep. Let's get started. We find a second land. Okay, that's great. Let's play a Pit-Skulk. So we can Rancor this Pit-Skulk and have the second Pit-Skulk out on the same turn, which is ideal. And looks like they have no play this turn, so we're going to hit them for 3. Okay, does the Nest Invader change anything? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure we want to make the same play. Put the Rancor on first, and then we attack so that the other Pit-Skulk gets thirsty. Okay, they'll have a hard time blocking these creatures, and as of next turn, I'll have, hopefully, Vines of the Vastwood up. Might want to play the Nest Invader, so we'll see what happens. Okay, that will be gaining them life. We are going to be doing a lot of damage, and they won't be able to block. Okay, they're snapping the larger Pit-Skulk. Okay. That will untap their lands, unfortunately. So they've gone back up to 19, but they can't block my creature. I'm going to want to probably keep the Savage Swipe if they have the white elephant. So I'll keep the Vines of Vastwood up, I think. We find another land. All right. So if I want to keep Vines of Vastwood up, I could play Pit-Skulk, and I could Savage Swipe something, but I'd like to keep it. Or I could play Nest Invader. I'd rather get the Pit-Skulk down anyways. That's the creature that's going to be doing the damage. And I think we pass from here. We want to keep up Vines. Or we might even just play the Nest Invader anyway. I don't think Vines is that important this turn. And then we'll have a way to sacrifice a creature next turn to activate the Hunger. Okay, they do have the Dignitary, so we'll take our turn to kill that. And they have no mana left, so they won't be able to save it. Okay. Unfortunately, we won't be able to use the +2/+2 as a combat trick here, but that's okay. Question now is, do we play Hunger and hold up Vines? Or do we play Ledgewalker? Personally, I like Hunger, hold up Vines. We go for a much faster clock there. But we can also do that next turn with the Eldrazi spawn. And I don't think that holding up Vines during their turn is necessary. Because what we're really afraid of is more dignitaries. Okay, I'm going to play that out and pass the turn. Okay, so they Mortuary Mire and get the Dignitary back. That's unfortunate. They'll have that next turn. That means I do get to attack this turn. And it's going to be a big one. Won't be lethal, though. Okay, they have no flyers. So we can sacrifice the spawn. Hunger of Howlpack on the Ledgewalker. And then we can hit them for everything we got, except for the Nest Invader. Okay, so that's 5 and 4 is 9. Plus another 4 would not kill them, so we're not going to risk it. Okay, pass back. Right, they play Dignitary. So something that we can actually do is if they try and blink the Dignitary, we can use the Vines to keep them from doing that. We do find Savage Swipe, so we're going to try and kill the Dignitary again. It works. We cannot attack, though. The opponent has 2 cards in hand and is in a miserable position. Okay, they're going to cast Echoing Truth, targeting the Seagate Oracle. So they're going to gain 2 life and be able to cast the Oracle again to look at some cards, I guess. Yeah, that works. You're not targeting my Pit-Skulks. It's fine. So they gain a bunch of life. They might think that's enough life to get out of this, but they're tapped out, so the Vines will win. Cast with Kicker. That's enough. Good luck. Okay, we have a hand with lands. We have a 1-drop, and we have 2 drops. We'll go Vault Skirge into Burning-Tree Emissary, and then one of the other creatures. Probably Nest Invader, but maybe Ledgewalker. We are looking for some things to make our creatures big. Bojuka Bog. Okay. So that could mean a couple of things. It could be mono-black control. Could be something that isn't mono-black control. But not many decks play Bojuka Bog. Okay. playing a Great Furnace here. So Prophetic Prism, I think I know what this is then. This is Monarch. Elephant Guide off the top, okay. So we're going to want to play the Nest Invader so we can have the 3rd mana to Elephant Guide the Vault Skirge. Okay, so on our second turn, we played a pair of Grizzly Bears. Unfortunately, they have the 1 red up, so they could be holding a removal spell here. Oh, no, they returned the red land, so they no longer have removal spell up. This is fantastic. We can put the Elephant Guide onto the Vault Skirge. We can also play these other Burning-Tree Emissaries that I didn't even realize I had. So, anyway. Okay, and then we'll move in and attack with everything. We'll also be gaining 4 life off the Vault Skirge. Okay, they're going for a trade, that's fine. Okay, so they play Prophetic Prism. They have a white mana left open, so they could play a Glint Hawk again. But we're just going to continue to push them around. We're also going to be looking to play the River Boa. Okay, we got another Burning-Tree Emissary. We'll start with combat this time. We're totally fine with trading our creatures here. Take 8. And we'll put some more creatures out. So we did get the full 4 Burning-Tree Emissaries this game, which put us just so far ahead. Really gave us the advantage there, even more so than the Elephant Guide on the Vault Skirge, which was quite good. So how are we going to navigate our way through this one? They do have a lot of flyers, but 1 damage isn't going to be enough to take them out. I might want to bring in the Epic Confrontation, being able to kill their creatures, and then being able to kill a second creature inside of combat seems quite good. The Gleedul Sabotage is another good option here. They kind of rely on bouncing their artifacts, and if we manage to hit some of their lands with Gleedul Sabotage, that could slow them down just too much. So let's bring in all the Sabotage. We're going to have to bring out 3 cards. I want to keep in the Vines of Vastwood because they're going to have removal spells. I want to keep in the Savage Swipes for sure. Hunger of the Howl pack I think is actually going to be quite good. The Elephant Guide is questionable. I'm not a big fan of having my creature bolted in response to casting an Elephant Guide. I think they just have too many ways to answer my creatures in that manner. If an Elephant Guide resolves, it's great. But I think the chance of it being fizzled is too high. I'm going to take it out. I think this is fine. I'm going to go with this. 3 guides out and 3 sabotage in. Okay, so we have 3 lands, which is quite a bit. We do have the Gleedul Sabotage and enough creatures to conspire with it. It is unfortunate to play the Pit-Skulk on the first turn, however. But the Pit-Skulk is going to be blocked by basically all their creatures unless I can get a Rancor on it. I'm gonna try this. We might be forced to go to game 3 because of my mulligan decision, but we'll attempt it. Okay, we get a Hunger of the Howl pack, which can grow our Pit-Skulk. We want to get this creature down, even though we are missing out on some power. It's important just to start attacking. Okay, we get Emissary. No artifact lands yet. I think we could have probably taken out Ledgewalker, but I don't have any creatures that I've been putting in, so I was hesitant to take a creature out, but I think that might have been the better choice. Okay, we have our first artifact, and that's our second, but they have the mana to crack it right away. I'm hoping they put out a prism here. No, they're going to lightning bolt our emissary, so that works. And they get a Glinthawk, which will probably return their Ancient Den. Okay. So Gleedul Sabotage is looking pretty dead here, and we don't have any good attacks. We could Vines of Vastwood something if they block it. We could Vines of Vastwood, the Pit-Skulk can just swing in for 5. And if we do it with a Burning-Tree Emissary to start, I think that might be good enough. Not good enough to win, I just mean good enough to do it. Cast with Kicker, target this so they can't block it. Take 5. They look to be land flooded here. Oh, a missionary. Okay. So they've really come prepared. That could be a good reason to switch out my sideboarding and really focus on killing their creatures. I think that we attack with the Burning-Tree Emissary here. They have to trade in order to kill it or in order to block it, and that's fine with us. Then we can Hunger the Howl Pack, the Vault Skirge. We could have also hungered the Pit-Skulk, which might have been slightly better. I was just thinking about gaining life, but they can block this over and over, and if they block it, they can 2 for 1. Using a Lightning Bolt or a Galv Blast. Okay, we get Rancor. So we can put the Rancor on the Pit-Skulk, and then they can't block it. Or we could put it on the Vault Skirge, and then blocking it would mean that they'd still take all the damage. I'm going to diversify. I'm just thinking about how much damage they're going to take for a second here. If we put it on the Pit-Skulk, they're going to take 3 damage guaranteed. If we put it on the Vault Skirge, they're going to take 4 damage guaranteed. They're going to take more damage from the Scourge this way, and if they kill the Scourge, we can get the Rancor back to put on the Skulk, and we also gain more life this way. So I will put it on the Scourge instead. Okay, so they're going to 2 for 1, our Vault Skirge here. Pair of Lightning Bolts. And we get the Rancor back to put on the Pit-Skulk. Thriving Heath. The chosen color is black. So they're going to be able to get their lone missionary back from the graveyard. Again, Gleedul Sabotage is just dead. I think that they might as well attack with the... I suppose if they attack with the Glinthawk, they are going to take an extra point of damage from the Ledgewalker, so it probably is best to avoid that. Okay, we'll swing in for 5. Radiant Fountain, and they still have Ancient Den in hand. Okay, they have a Galv Blast, so that will kill our creature. And the Rancors aren't going to do much good to save our Ledgewalker from Glinthawk. It will be damage in the bank, but then we'll be out of threats. I think they might as well attack with Thraben Inspector there. Okay, we get Savage Swipe. Unfortunately, it doesn't work with the Ledgewalker, who's only a 1/1. So we could double Rancor the Ledgewalker and attack. Then we lose our only attacking threat. I think we have to wait, unfortunately. Might as well put, let's see here, cancel auto yields. We'll put one Rancor on it now. And then make further decisions later. We have enough mana to threaten Vines of Vastwood here. Yep, that Gleedul Sabotage was really looking like the wrong choice. I thought that they'd be presenting more artifacts and that they would be more important. Okay, so there's the Prism. I wonder if it will stay in long enough for us to sabotage it, although we don't have enough creatures in order to conspire it anyways. Okay, there's the Skyfisher. Curious if they'll return the Radiant Fountain or the Prophetic Prism. Okay, they go for the draw. Okay, if we find creature here, we might be in business. We are looking for a creature. We find another land. That is unfortunate. Okay, well, let's go ahead and use the Gleedul Sabotage to destroy their Prophetic Prism. And we'll pass. Okay, so they get their Bonder's Ornament, which would have been a better card to destroy. That's going to be drawing them cards. We need to find a way to attack. Creature, creature. We find Nettle Sentinel. Fantastic. So we can Nettle Sentinel and wait for a turn and then Savage Swipe next turn. Or we could Savage Swipe now. I personally, I would prefer to wait so that we can get the Rancor on the Nettle Sentinel and attack with it next turn. But waiting could be my downfall. They're going to draw a card here with the ornament, and then they'll draw a card for their turn, so they'll be up to 4 potential answers. Just waiting to see what it is. Is it Journey to Nowhere? Is it Lightning Bolt? Or did they whiff? Looks like maybe a Journey to Nowhere. No, another Skyfisher. So they're going to continue to draw. More blockers is more problems. Okay, but they are attacking, which is good news. So that's one blocker out of the way. They have access to huge amounts of mana and 3 cards in hand. So they could easily have a Lightning Bolt here. Maybe a Galv Blast is more likely. They have 1 Lightning Bolt left in the deck. Okay, we find a Nest Invader. It's not going to do much now, but we can use it to untap the Nettle Sentinel, second main. So let's start with Savage Swipe. We really just have to hope that they have nothing. Okay, they use their clue. They no longer have enough mana to use the ornament, but they do still have access to 4 mana. Okay, they have a Lightning Bolt. We have no answer to that, so we're going to concede. Okay, I was thinking Gleedul Sabotage was good, but it really felt pretty terrible there. I wouldn't mind keeping a Gleedul Sabotage in the deck so that I could get rid of the Bonder's Ornament, but I don't really want to go in for that plan. The Longbow could kill something. I think having a Longbow in the deck is a good idea to get rid of some of their creatures. Don't think I want the Scattershot Archer. They really feel like they're a lot better against fairy decks. Wouldn't mind the Epic Confrontation, though. Another way to kill their creatures would be good. And I'll take out one of the Ledgewalkers. And I'll take out another Ledgewalker for an Elephant Guide. And we're going to try that. So we have 1 Gleedul Sabotage and 1 Viridian Longbow. And we've taken out 2 Ledgewalkers. I feel like there's something else. And Epic Confrontation for one of the Elephant Guides. Okay, so we got the play, which is pretty important. This hand is okay. It's good enough to keep, but not great. We're going to start with Vault Skirge. And we'll play River Boa on our 3rd turn, when we can protect it with Regenerate. Too bad they won't have any islands. We could find a Rancor off the top. That would be quite nice. Okay, another land. Unfortunate. We have enough lands. We don't need any more. Thank you. Let's see if they're going to take the damage. They do. So we'll just play a Quirion Ranger and pass. Okay, they do have an answer. They were just waiting to see if a better target presented itself, which is why we did not play the River Boa there. Okay, another Savage Swipe. We're running a little bit slow here. Would prefer to be attacking with larger creatures at this point in the game. But this looks like a good opportunity. Can kill their Skyfisher and swing in for 5. Another land, unfortunate. I'm just wondering if I want to hide some of the land drops that I have here with the Quirion Ranger. I think I'll play one more and then I'll hide the last one. Okay, they have Thraben Inspector, so that's what we're going to swipe at. We get Hunger the Howl pack as well. Fantastic. So we'll start with Savage Swipe. Now they might bolt our snake here. That won't save their Inspector, but it will save them from combat. Okay, it works. Hunger is an instant, so we can wait. Kind of want to play the Hunger on the Ranger, but if we do that, we potentially lose out on all the value. It would still be, now it would be a 2-for-1 as well against us. They have 4 cards in hand and 1 land up. They would have access to 3 Lightning Bolts and potentially 4 Galv Blasts, so it's very likely they can answer the Hunger the Howl pack, and they have 3 artifact lands, so they could even answer it on the River Boa. This is the turn to do it, but it's just very, very risky. Okay, I'm going to put it onto the creature that I can save. It is putting all my eggs in one basket, but it means I can save this creature if they try and answer it, and they'll just lose out on their spell. Okay, we'll put a regeneration shield on it. Still becomes a 7/6, which is going to be hard for them to deal with. 5/4, right. They had Savage Swipe on for a second there, so they only need 1 Galv Blast, and it can't be regenerated. Oh my. I haven't seen that in these decks before. That works. That's a surprise. Okay. So we could have done more damage if we had hungered the Quirion Ranger. They would have Galv Blast the Ranger and taken 4 from the River Boa. And then we would have lost the Boa on our turn. So they would be at 10 instead of 13, but we would have no creatures. Okay, Lone Missionary. It's a good card on their side. I'm pretty much out of gas, but they're in the same boat. So let's see what we can find off the top. Okay, Burning-Tree Emissary. Not my favorite option here. I think that I still attack for 1 with a Quirion Ranger, and if they block and trade, that's fine. And that'll take a piece off the board that could deal with the Emissary. Okay, they're not going for the block, so let's just take 1. We'll play the Emissary. And then we'll also hide our land drops. We have plenty of lands, so we can do this little trick with no waste. Okay, so they've drawn up to 4 cards now. And they found a land. Okay. Looking pretty poor at this point. We're out of resources and they have blockers. Going to need to start with a removal spell. That'll work. So we could Epic Confrontation. The Quirion Ranger kills the Lone Missionary, and then we attack with both creatures. So the Quirion Ranger becomes a 2/3, so yeah, that'll work. They can kill the Quirion Ranger, but they have to sacrifice their Thraben Inspector to do it. Okay, I accept that trade. It's a 2 for 2. So before this happens, we're going to untap our Burning-Tree Emissary, just for funsies, and play a land. So it looks like we're holding up more mana for whatever's in our hand. Of course, Skyfisher is a problem. We need another removal spell here. And we've already used 3 of our 5. Okay, another land. So we are very far behind at this point. I'm going to take another turn, but it's looking like we're not going to come back from this. Okay, so they draw up to 5 cards in hand. And they have a standard bearer. Okay, we're going to concede. We've got 2 lands and plenty of creatures. We're going to start with Nettle Sentinel into Pit-Skulk and Vault Skirge. Okay, we'll keep. We might want to start on Vault Skirge because it's more likely to hit the opponent than a Nettle Sentinel is, and we want to get the Pit-Skulk up to a 2/2 right away. So I'm going to start with the Scourge. That's what I want to take some time to think about here. We do want to play Forest for sure. I'm going to go with the Sentinel, even though it's not quite as likely to do the damage as the Vault Skirge is. It does more damage, so that's why we're going to go with it. Planning on playing the 2 creatures next turn. Nest Invader would also be quite good because it would guarantee Elephant Guide on turn 3. But it looks like we're facing off against an opponent with mountains, and Rift Bolt has entered the exile zone. Okay, so we're playing against Burn, but they did not hit our Nettle Sentinel. If we can get an Elephant Guide on the Vault Skirge, we're laughing. Okay, hit our opponent for 2. Now, another option we have is to play the Nest Invader and the Vault Skirge, but that takes away the 3rd mana for the Elephant Guide, so we're just going to go with the original plan. We did the damage, so let's get the benefit and have a bloodthirsty Pit-Skulk. So we did ourselves 2 damage there and put ourselves to 18, which is a multiple of 3. It is unfortunate, but I want to get that Vault Skirge out, and if it hits once, then it brings us back out of a multiple of 3. So I think the Vault Skirge is worthwhile if we connect a single time with it, or if it eats a single removal spell. That math does change if the removal spell is in response to Elephant Guide, of course. Thermal Alchemist, okay. So we're looking for either a land or a Savage Swipe. Okay, we find another Elephant Guide instead. So we'll play the Nest Invader, which will give us access to Elephant Guide next turn. In the meantime, we're going to attack with everything. They'll probably block the Nettle Sentinel here. It's pretty safe to block it. But they might be so scared of losing their Alchemist that they don't. Okay, that's a good block opponent. They'll take 3 and we'll go up to 16. As I said, that 1 life makes the Vault Skirge worthwhile. Getting us back out of debt. We are going to have to be careful about them removing the Scourge in response to the Elephant Guide. But if we can start swinging in for 4 lifelink a turn, that's going to be the game, basically. I don't think that Burn can recover from a 4/4 lifelink or flyer. But we have to get there first. We're really looking for them to tap all their mana. But if they're smart, they'll keep a lightning bolt back. Okay, they're going to Searing Blaze. Is that going to target our Vault Skirge? I think it's targeting our Nettle Sentinel. That's weird. Why would you target that one? I mean, the Pit-Skulk is way better than the Nettle Sentinel. Okay. Absolutely. That all happens. There's nothing we can do about it. We are tapped out. We have no answers. I have in the past played Gather Courage, which would allow me to tap the Nettle Sentinel. Oh, here's a Needle Drop. Okay. Down to 11. But they're tapped out, so we can put the Elephant Guide on the Vault Skirge. And they're going to take a ton of damage from that. They're going to feel so bad. They chose the wrong creature. They do still have 4 cards in hand, so that's a lot of damage. Okay, we get the land late. We might as well keep the Eldrazi spawn around. There's no reason to use it right now, besides perhaps to bluff a Vines of Vastwood. Okay, and we're going to want to hold the Nest Invader back. They've already shown that they'll block. So we might as well hold it back in case they get a hasty threat. This deck in the past has run a creature that if you have, I think it's 2 spells in your graveyard, it gets haste. It becomes like a 2/2 haste. So that would be good at this point in the game for them. So we'll keep something back to block it. Okay, we've gone up to 14 life. And the opponent is at 9. If we keep the Vault Skirge around for 1 more turn, then I'm confident we have this. And even if they spend 2 spells now to kill it, unless one of them or both of them is Searing Blaze, then they're in pretty big trouble anyway. I think that Searing Blaze into Needle Drop would probably be one of the best things they could do to the Vault Skirge. Okay, so they're hitting me. They might be needle dropping after this. Okay, there's the Curse of the Pierced Heart. A little bit late. You really want to drop that on turn 2. Although the Thermo Alchemist, which was dropped, I believe, on turn 2, has been doing a ton of work. So if it was the choice between those two, they probably made the right choice. Also, the Alchemist has been able to block this whole time. So definitely the creature was a better choice than the Curse. Okay, they're going to Fire Blast and sacrifice their land to get rid of the Vault Skirge. I think that's a good choice on their part. We are going to get a 3/3 elephant from it. And then we can put the other Elephant Guide on the Pit-Skulk, which will be unblockable, and a 5/5. They do have 2 mana and 2 cards, so we will have to be aware that they could have an answer. For that reason, it might be a better idea to put it on the Eldrazi spawn. Okay, we get another land, unfortunate. Yeah, I think I Elephant Guide the Eldrazi spawn. It's just the worst creature. and then it becomes good enough to kill the Alchemist in combat. But it does mean that Searing Blaze, even without a land, is going to be good enough to kill the spawn. Maybe I should have thought of that. But no harm, no foul. Let's move to combat. So they're at 9, and this is 6, 7, 8. So if I attack with Nest Invader, they're forced to block, but they can just block Nest Invader. This way, they don't have to block at all. So keeping the Nest Invader back means that I'll have a blocker if they have the hasty guy. Okay, so they're blocking the elephant, or not. It is a difficult decision, isn't it, opponent? So you're going to go to 1. I think that really out of all their choices, that's a fine one. It's pretty unlikely that I have a Hunger of the Howlpack in hand. They're going to have to do a lot of damage, but it is possible. They'll have 3 cards. So if one of them is Fire Blast, they could Lightning Bolt, which is 6. Okay, well, they have a land, so they can't do that. Let's just wait and see what happens. It's going to be close. Okay, so this puts me to 6, and then they could put me to 3, and then 2, and then 1. So I think they can only put me to 1, unless they have Fire Blast. And then I think they kill me. So I think this is actually lethal. Because the Curse of the Pierced Heart is going to kill me on my turn. Very well navigated. That's a very difficult kill for my opponent to make there. So it's very impressive. Okay, so what are we going to bring in here? Definitely want to bring in the 3 Weather the Storm. Otherwise, we're not too impressed with anything else. We could potentially bring in Epic Confrontation or Gleedul Sabotage. But I think that we'd rather just get in there and start swinging. So we've brought in 3 spells. The Elephant Guide is going to be one of the easier ones to answer, just with a Lightning Bolt. I think we can take out a Savage Swipe. If they don't have any creatures for us to target, that's just a dead card in hand. We'll take out 1 Elephant Guide, and then we'll take out 1 other thing. Maybe... What's the worst creature in this matchup? Probably Quirion Ranger. The Pit-Skulk is quite good. It's unblockable. So is the Ledgewalker. Probably the River Boa, although that can save itself. Okay, let's take out 1 River Boa, and we'll try this. Yes, I will take the play. So we have 3 lands, no creatures, and a Weather the Storm. We're going to mulligan. Okay, this time we have 1 creature, 3 lands, and a Weather the Storm. We are going to keep, and we'll put a land underneath. And then we'll just play land pass into Nest Invader. And then we can Hunger the Howl pack by sacrificing the Eldrazi, play the Rancor, and Weather the Storm to potentially gain 9 life on turn 3, as well as have a 7/5 Trampler. But that's the perfect scenario. What actually is going to happen, we don't know yet. We'll see. Let's see what we draw. Nettle Sentinel. We would have liked to have had that last turn. I think we'll still play Nest Invader this turn and pass. And even if they kill the Nest Invader, we can next turn Nettle Sentinel, Hunger of the Howl pack, Weatherstorm. Oh, we don't have enough mana for that. We would need a land in order to do that. We only have access to 3 mana currently. All right, let's see what we draw. We got another Weather the Storm. So I'm thinking we probably cast Hunger of the Howl pack and Weather the Storm to gain 6 life. And while we're at it, we make a 5/5, which is very difficult for them to kill. And we'll hold the other Weather the Storm for a turn when they cast like 3 spells or something. Either way, this is going to be a difficult threat for them to answer. Needle Drop. This would be a good turn to have access to Weather the Storm, huh? But I needed to... Okay, so they are going to trade 2 spells for our Nest Invader. That's fine. And is one of them going to be a Fire Blast? Because you have no mana left. I guess you could Gutshot, but I don't think Burn plays Gutshot. That's curious. What are you going to do now? Oh, okay, you had another land drop. That makes sense. Okay, so they're down to 3 cards in hand. We find Forest. So I think we want to just play Nettle Sentinel pass. We could gain 6 more life, which is equal to 2 cards. But I think we can gain even more life if we surprise them on their turn with the Weather the Storm. Okay, they found another land. This could be a good turn for Weather the Storm if they were to cast anything, but it doesn't seem like they are. All right. We get a Quirion Ranger. That's pretty good. So we can Quirion Ranger, Rancor. I think we want a Rancor first, and we can play Quirion Ranger second main and return a Forest, and then play Weather the Storm after. And this way they cannot block the Thermo Alchemist with the... they cannot block the Nettle Sentinel, rather, with a Thermo Alchemist without losing their creature. And if they start casting spells in our turn, that's just going to make the Weather Storm that much stronger. They're going for a Fire Blast? Interesting. This does mean that we will lose our Rancor, but they lost 2 mountains to do this. And that's 1 extra spell, which I think is definitely enough to warrant the Weather the Storm. Okay, so we gain 12 life, I think. That's enough. I don't think that we really want to change the deck very much. The Weather the Storm is really what we're looking for here. Okay, let's just submit and see if we can weather the storm for a second time. We have no lands. We will mulligan. And our opponent has kept. This is a 1-land hand, but it does have Quirion Ranger. Everything else is 2 mana. I don't really like this. I think I'm going to mulligan again. We get another no-land hand. And another 1-land hand, but this time it has Weather the Storm. We're going to keep. And we're going to put everything that isn't Quirion Ranger, Forest, and Weather the Storm to the bottom. The Quirion Ranger might have been the wrong keep. I was just thinking about making 2 mana, but it's not going to stick around. We probably should have got the Vault Skirge or the Gruul card that makes mana, because then we could have weathered the storm for 2 immediately on turn 2. So I think that our mulligan decision was a little bit poor. We could have taken a lot more time on that decision and made a better one. I was just thinking about making mana with a Quirion Ranger, but that's not really what we want to be doing here. It doesn't actually make mana. And since we knew we had 2 lands, we didn't really need it. Or did we just draw the land now? And that's why I'm second guessing myself. Okay, Searing Blaze. No choice. But we'll get the second land down, and that means whenever they cast 2 spells in a turn, we can weather the storm. Or we could just draw the Burning-Tree Emissary and immediately gain 6 life and have a creature. I think that's probably the better play here, and we can keep the last Weather the Storm for another turn. So that puts us back to 20. And that 1 card cancels out their Rift Bolt and half of their Searing Blaze. Hoping this other Weather the Storm is going to trigger 4 times would be ideal. Okay, Rift Bolt is going in the Exile Zone, so we'll probably be casting the Weather the Storm on their turn, next turn. And we get a Pit-Skulk. Oh, that is a reason to wait. But I think this is our last chance to get a really good Weather the Storm. So we're going to wait on the Pit-Skulk and try and catch our opponent off guard here. If they can play 1 or 2 more spells, after the Rift Bolt, we're really going to get them. They're almost out of cards here, so I'm hoping they play 2 spells and we can basically end the game. Oh, a Firebrand Archer. You know, I honestly didn't think they were going to be playing those. Do you have another spell? It looks like they do. Okay, that's great. Our Weather the Storm is going to cancel out the Skewer. They have no cards left in hand. And we gain 12 life. So that cancels out almost the entire turn besides the Firebrand Archer, which is going to continue to give them value. It can even block and trade with our creatures. One of the reasons why I wasn't playing Savage Swipe is I didn't think they had Firebrand Archer in the deck still. It's too easy to kill with removal spells, but it seems like they've decided to keep it. So we are going to attack, and if they block, that's fine with us. We'll absolutely take this trade. Okay, they don't. And that means our Pit-Skulk is going to be that much stronger. It's going to be twice as strong as it would have been if they had blocked. Okay, we're in a pretty good position here. We have 19 life, and they have 1 creature, and that's it. It is a good creature. If they attack, I will block. Okay, they're just going to use it as a 1 damage every time they cast a spell, which is a fine purpose for it. We'll attack for 4. And we're at 15 life, which is exactly where they want us. It is a multiple of 3. 16 would be way better. 17 would be even better than that. They can start attacking now. If they don't intend on blocking, they might as well, and that's an extra 2 damage. So that's going to be an extra bolt, basically, for every spell they cast. And we get a Weather the Storm off the top. Oh my god. So we're basically a sure thing at this point. We can Weather the Storm in response to one of their spells. Or if we get a decent spell on our next turn, we can just gain 6, which is also fine. Okay, they're going to go ahead and just cast the Rift Bolt. That's fine. I expect them to attack again. And we'll Weather the Storm because we're not going to get a better opportunity in the rest of the game to do it. So we might as well gain 6. I'm sure that our opponent will concede here. They'll probably be frustrated to see so many Weather the Storms. I mulligan to 4, I think, and just Weather the Storm turn after turn. That's got to be pretty frustrating. We do have a 1-land hand, but with Quirion Ranger, we can make it into 2 lands on our second turn. So I think it's worthwhile to keep this and try and go Ranger, Burning-Tree Emissary, Nest Invader. So we're going to risk it, especially being on the play here. So our opponent is going to need a 1-mana removal spell in order to stop us from flooding the board. And once we get 1 Nest Invader out, we can get the second one out. So it looks like they do not have Disfigure or Defile. So we're going to be able to do our little trick. And from 1 creature and 1 land, we now have 5 power and 6 toughness on the board, as well as 4 permanents. Okay, so Ash Barrens off a swamp, and they get Island. So they're playing Dimir Control. Augur of Bolas, we can hit that with a Savage Swipe and swing in for a ton of damage. If we get land off the top, we can Rancor something. Land would also allow us to Hunger of the Howlpack, although we could do that anyway, now that I think about it. Let's see what we draw. We do draw land. So let's consider how we can run this. I'm thinking probably Savage Swipe and Nest Invader are what I want to do. We can sacrifice the Eldrazi spawn to do that. Another option would have been to play the Hunger of the Howlpack. But we would have just lost the Eldrazi spawn that way. This way we can play the Hunger of the Howlpack this turn. So it looks like they could have removal spell here. We're going to want to be careful about what we play. They could also have Spell Stutter Sprite. The Burning-Tree Emissary cannot be Spell Stuttered. So I'm going to play that out, and then we can use the Quirion Ranger to get extra mana. I think I might want to wait until... Do I want to wait till post-combat for that? I don't think I do. I think I do this right away. Okay, so they are responding. They have Spell Stutter Sprite, so they're going to be able to counter our Burning-Tree Emissary. But that means we're going to be able to play our Rancor. Or we could use the Hunger of the Howlpack. I think I would rather use the Rancor. This deck runs removal spells that don't worry about power and toughness. So the Hunger of the Howlpack is going to be less useful in this match. And I would want to put Rancor on a Nest Invader or the Eldrazi spawn, perhaps. I think the Nest Invader would be the best place for it. Actually, now that I think about it, would be Burning-Tree Emissary would be the better place for it, because this deck can run Echoing Decay and Echoing Truth. Okay, so they're at 4. Pretty good spot for us to be in. They need, what do they need here? Augur of Bolas is a pretty good start, and if they have removal spell as well, I think they might still be in the game. Okay, they reveal Agony Warp, which they can play. We also have Hunger of the Howlpack, which they do not know about. And we can trigger it instantly with the Eldrazi spawn. Let's see what we draw. We get Nettle Sentinel. Okay. Let's move into attack. Attack with everything except for the Eldrazi spawn. I imagine they'll Agony Warp the Nest Invader. Okay, so this is 6 damage. They need to do a response. So we can assign the blockers. We want to kill the Spell Stutter Sprite, so that's fine. And if they do nothing here, they lose. Okay, they're going to use the Agony Warp to kill this Nest Invader and only take 1 damage. So instead we can sacrifice this. And then play the Hunger of the Howlpack on the Nest Invader, which will save it, and then they'll take 5-6 damage. Okay. So how are we going to run against a control deck? Scattershot Archers, for sure. And we could bring in Viridian Longbow as well. Elephant Guide is so-so. If they remove our creatures after it is in play, then it's quite good. If they remove our creature in response to it, it's quite bad. Ledgewalker is going to be quite bad. They have creatures with flying. River Boa is excellent. It has Island Walk. Wish I had some more on the sideboard. Vault Skirge is going to be quite bad. We could bring in another Longbow to try and answer their creatures. Relic of Progenitus is okay. Gutshot is okay. Epic Confrontation is okay. Gleedul Sabotage is bad. And Weather the Storm seems bad. We're going to run with this. We have 2 Scattershot Archers and 2 Viridian Longbows. And we took out 2 Ledgewalkers and 2 Vault Skirge. Okay, so this hand is not great. 3 lands, 1 creature. But it does have protection for that creature with Vines of Vastwood. I'm going to keep it and hope I don't get punished. Being able to have Nettle Sentinel stay up with Vines could be quite good. We draw another land, not what we wanted to see. We would like to see 0 forests for the rest of the game, please. So next turn we're going to be looking at just casting Rancor, a single Rancor on the Nettle Sentinel, and holding up Vines of Vastwood. Until we find another creature, we have to keep this Nettle Sentinel alive. Okay, so they have a tap land here that's quite good for us. Means they do not have an answer for our Nettle Sentinel. And we find another forest. Woe is me. Okay, next turn we can use this other Rancor to untap our Nettle Sentinel again. But for now we want to keep it alive with Vines of Vastwood. Okay, we expect them to sacrifice their Terramorphic Expanse here. They've already used a Brainstorm, so they're going to be able to shuffle their, I think, 1 card that they didn't want away, and another Terramorphic Expanse. Looks like they're just passing here. So we're going to find another land and cast Rancor. We're almost even hoping for a removal spell here, so we can use Vines of Vastwood with Kicker and hit them for a ludicrous amount of damage, as well as save our Rancor. Now the Rancor should still function. It should hit the Nettle Sentinel. Okay, and then we'll hit him for 10. If we had gas in the tank here, I'd be quite confident about our position. But once they get 1 more removal spell, we lose our Nettle Sentinel and we have no pressure. But they do need to find an answer immediately. Okay, that's halfway there. They need 1 more power on the board or a removal spell. They find removal spell. Unfortunate. So that Echoing Decay is going to kill the Nettle Sentinel and there's nothing we can do. We do get our Rancors back. But we're on the back foot now. Okay, that's a pretty good card to get. Get Nest Invader. And we can go ahead and put both Rancors down while they're tapped out and cannot counter them. That was probably the wrong place to put it, because they can just block that with Augur of Bolas now. I wanted to put it on the other Nest Invader. I was thinking diversifying my threats, but that was a mistake. Okay, here's a Gurmag Angler. If my Nest Invader was a 6/2, it would be able to trade with the Angler. And another forest off the top. Okay, we're probably losing the game at this point. It was a pretty good run. We got pretty close, but they found the removal spell they needed off the Augur of Bolas. let's see how they scry. One on top, one on the bottom. And they're playing Thorn of the Black Rose. Okay, one option I do have is I can sacrifice the Eldrazi spawn, and that will give me the Rancor back. I can put the Elephant Guide on the Nest Invader, and then put both Rancors on it, and that'll be good. We're gonna do that. Okay, so we have a 9/5 now. We'll use it to attack. And if they kill it, we get a 3/3. Okay. So we get to... Okay, and they're saving the Monarch. Let's see here. So that's a total of 6 and 5 is 11. So we want to do damage like this. 5 here, 3 here. Get those off the board. And we might as well put the Rancors on it now. I see no reason not to. We still have 1 mana up to bluff Vines. But they have several removal spells that can deal with this problem. And they have enough power on the board to just straight up kill it. And they have Counterspell in hand. But they will lose their entire force if they block it that way. So they're not planning on... Oh, they're going to bring in a Ninja and then replay the Fairy Seer. I see what's going on. That's quite good for them. Although if they replay the Fairy Seer, they don't have access to Counterspell. I think that we have managed to put up some pretty good pressure here. This is a pretty close game in my opinion, even though we have infinite lands. Okay, I think our best course of action is still to attack. I don't think we're going to be winning with a Viridian Longbow here. They could play... Oh, well, there you go. Snuff Out. They did lose the life for that, so that's something. Unfortunately, we do not have a creature to deploy the Rancors on. We could play the Viridian Longbow into a counterspell. I'm fine with that. I don't think they'll counter this. So I'd say that we gave it a pretty good run, got the opponent down to 2 life. So we really need to get another creature down so we can finish the game with a longbow, but we know they have counterspell up. So they're going to counterspell our first creature, and then from there we're going to have to hope that we can land a second one. Okay, we get Scattershot Archers, which we're going to throw down, and they're going to counterspell. Oh my goodness, they didn't counterspell it. Okay, might as well equip. And pass the turn. Oh, they decided to use removal spell instead of counterspell. I respect that. And they're drawing 3 cards a turn between Ninja the Deep Hours and the Monarch token. so we're just not able to keep up with that value. I'm going to take a look at what I draw here, but I'm going to concede almost certainly. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 power on the board. And we get Savage Swipe. That's not a creature. We concede. Okay, I don't think I really want to change anything as far as sideboarding goes. I might bring in the Gutshot just as an answer to Spellstutter Sprite. But I can't really think of anything I would take out. Maybe Hunger of the Howlpack? To try and kill a creature? That might be worthwhile. Let's give it a shot. Why not? I think Hunger of the Howlpack is better against a red deck where we're dealing with Lightning Bolt, and that can put a creature permanently out of range of said Lightning Bolt. Okay, we're on the play, and we get an okay hand. This is not good by any stretch, but it is okay. We'll keep. Second turn, we can play Burning-Tree Emissary into Rancor, depending on what we draw. Okay, they're starting with a 1/1 flyer, which means they can turn it into a ninja on their second turn. And we find another land. Okay, we'll play the Emissary. And if we're lucky, we'll be able to put Elephant Guide on it next turn. Not our best Burning-Tree Emissary. No attack, so they don't have a ninja. They are holding up Counterspell or Spellstutter Sprite, but not Removal Spell. I'm fine with losing my Elephant Guide to a Counterspell. I think that's a fine risk. But if they have Spellstutter Sprite, it won't work. Okay, they do have Counterspell. And they get Swamp, so now they have access to removal as well. And they have it. Diabolic Edict, really? I mean, I guess it is an instant. I don't understand why you wouldn't be playing the other one. Okay, I've got too many spells and not enough creatures. I mean, it is a creature. Okay, and then we can protect that with Vines of Vastwood and Hunger of the Howlpack. Not really the creature we want to be using as our aggressor, but any port in a storm, I suppose. Okay, they're playing the Gurmag Angler. So we could kill that with a Vines of Vastwood and Hunger of the Howlpack. They are tapped out. We get another Quirion Ranger. I don't really like using the Hunger of the Howlpack as a put a +1/+1 target on a creature. But, I mean, if that's what we have to do, that's what we have to do. If I play the other Quirion Ranger pre-combat, I'll still have access to 3 mana during combat. Let's see how they block. Okay, they go for it, so we're going to go for it as well. Okay, so they are going to be able to kill the Quirion Ranger with that block. I'm not going to be able to save it with the Hunger of the Howl pack. But we are going to be able to do 4 plus 3 is 7. So we can kill both creatures. 4, 5, 6 is the amount of damage they're dealing. And then we can put the other Hunger on the other Quirion Ranger. Actually, do we put the Hunger down or the... I think we put the Hunger down. Make it a 4/4. Can't be warped, but they do have access to a lot of other counter spells that will work, or removal spells. This is a difficult matchup. They have access to so many spells to kill our creatures. And they also have access to Spell Stutter Sprite here, which can counter our Rancor. I do think we still have to play it, and it works, okay? No blocks, and we get damage. Great. Let's go ahead and untap our creature. Just because we can. Augur of Bolas, okay. They don't quite have enough power to kill our creature yet. Cast down, that works though. We don't have a Vines, so we cannot save our Ranger. But we will get our Rancor back. Oh, they have a ninja? Yep. So they've only got 2 cards in hand here, but we have no creatures left. And if they continue to attack with a ninja, we're going to be in a ton of trouble. We're going to play a Nettle Sentinel. Give it Rancor. And then if they attack, we can try and block the ninja and use the Hunger of the Howl pack to get a good trade for ourselves. They only have access to 1 card in hand, so we can make a 5/3, block this, and they wouldn't be able to kill it with their creatures. Okay, we're going to do this pre-combat. Or sorry, pre-blocks, because I don't want to lose my creature if they have an answer to the Hunger. Okay, so they Spell Stutter Sprite it. In that case, I would rather not block. We will let them draw a card. I will save my Nettle Sentinel for 1 turn and see what I draw. If I get Elephant Guide would be quite good here. We get Burning-Tree Emissary instead. Okay, so we'll attack, and then we'll play Burning-Tree Emissary post-combat. Okay, they are going to trade. We have enough power to kill them both. Get our Rancor back. They probably have Spell Stutter Sprite here as their last card. Oh, maybe not. I think they would have used it there if they had it. Brainstorm. Looking for maybe a Snuff Out. Snuff Out would kill the Rancor for good. Otherwise, they're Brainstorm locked. At this point, I do not block the ninja. I want to keep my creature around. And they are going to get aggressive, no blocks. I am surprised that they attacked with a Spell Stutter Sprite. Maybe it means they have access to another creature. Oh, they got Snuff Out. Okay, that's pretty much GG. Yeah, and they got multiple creatures here. Let's concede. We have a 1-lander with Nettle Sentinel and Pit-Skulk we're going to keep. Would like to see Quirion Ranger when we have a 1-lander, but Nettle Sentinel into Pit-Skulk seems pretty good if we can get it. But we might be playing against the Mirror. Either that or we're playing against Elves. I think Elves is more likely. I haven't played against anybody playing Stompy since I started playing Pauper again, which was only 2 weeks ago. But so far I've seen Elves quite a few times, and I've seen, I mean, no other deck with Quirion Ranger anyways. Let's see what they play. We might end up Savage swiping it. Okay, we are playing the mirror match. That's pretty cool. We're really looking to draw land here. With land, we can Savage swipe Rancor. We do not find it. Okay, so Savage swipe isn't looking too good here. We could Savage swipe the Quirion Ranger and attack, and they probably block with Spawn, and that would take them off their 2 lands a turn. And they won't be able to block and kill my creature. So I think this is fine. Okay, we pass the turn from there. Okay, they keep the Spawn, so they have access to more mana. That makes sense. Having trouble with my spelling. Okay, they're going to go ahead and use their own Savage swipe. There's nothing we can do. And we get a Pit-Skulk. Okay, so the only thing we can do here is play a Pit-Skulk and pass. So that's what we'll do. Next turn we can put a Rancor on it, and it will still swing past the Nest Invader. But if we get land, we can put a Rancor on the Pit-Skulk and play a second Pit-Skulk. I think that would be the best play with a land. Okay, they've got another Savage swipe. So we're going to be eating another 4 damage here, at least. And they've got a second land. So they've drawn out of their screw. Might have been better to kill the Nest Invader with our Savage swipe. Then they would not have been able to use them. Okay, we get another non-land. So we'll just play our second Pit-Skulk and pass. We're so far behind here. We're going to be needing land and then Savage swipe. If we get land, we could play River Boa and then count on a Savage swipe coming up. 3 mana is probably Elephant Guide. So they now have a 5/5 Pit-Skulk. And again, we don't find land. Okay, that was a risk. Keeping a 1-land hand. It happens. So we're going to want our removal spells. Gutshot, Epic Confrontation, and our Longbows. And what shall we take out? Thinking about taking out... I do like the Vault Skirge because it has lifelink, so that can be one way we can get it back in the game. Ledgewalker is basically unblockable. I might take out one of the vines, maybe even 2 vines, because I don't think they're going to have too many ways to kill our creatures. Hunger of the Howl pack could be quite good. We're going to keep 3 of those in the deck. And then I might take out the River Boas, even though they have Regenerate. I do like Regenerate on my creatures in this matchup. I think I'll have to keep them. In that case, I'll take out 1 more Vines. We'll go down to 2 Vines. And 1 of the Quirion Rangers. Okay, we're going to run with this for game 2 of match 5. And we have the play. So again, we have a 1 land hand, but this time we have Vault Skirge into Pit-Skulk. I don't want to keep it because I was burned before, but if we have land on top in the next 2 cards, we're doing quite nicely. I think I do have to mulligan. We don't have any removal spells, and if we get stuck on 1 land again, that could be pretty bad. We are going to mull. We had another 1 land hand, but this time we have Savage Swipe. It doesn't work very well with the Pit-Skulk, so again we're going to need land. But I am going to keep, and I'm going to put the Elephant Guide on the bottom. Scratch that. I'm going to put the Vines of Vastwood on the bottom. The Ledgewalker is basically unblockable, and the Nest Invader, if we get our second land, is going to take us to 3 mana for the Elephant Guide. Okay, so start out with a Pit-Skulk and pass the turn. Our opponent also kept 6. And they start with a Quirion Ranger. Okay, so they can block and kill our Pit-Skulk. We do not draw land. We're going to attack here. I think they're going to need their Quirion Ranger more than we need our Pit-Skulk. Unfortunately, we have no follow-up. Okay, they already have a second land. And with that damage, they're going to be able to activate their own Pit-Skulk if they have one. Two mana. Oh, they have 2 Pit-Skulks? That could be a problem. Okay, we find our land. So we can play Nest Invader. Oh, I was supposed to play Burning-Tree Emissary. I'm such an idiot. Punt. It's not the first time I've drawn Burning-Tree and made a mistake with it. Okay, so they have Elephant Guide. This is going to become a problem very quickly. Our Savage Swipe will no longer kill their Pit-Skulk. Okay, we get another land. So we have access to 4 mana now. We can Burning-Tree Emissary, Elephant Guide into Savage Swipe. Okay, we'll put the Elephant Guide on the Burning-Tree Emissary to block the Pit-Skulk. Okay, and then we'll Savage Swipe the Quirion Ranger. Sorry, yep, like that. And then we can attack in for 5. Keep this even. So if they attack straight into it, we can block. But it might be better to just wait and attack with our own creature instead. If they have almost any spell here, they could kill our Burning-Tree Emissary. But I think it would have been a better choice for them to use that spell to make their creature unblockable. Here we're pairing off and making 3/3s. I'm fine with this trade, and I'm sure my opponent is as well. Might have been a better choice to just be swinging face with both of our creatures. Now we have a wall on the other side, which is untapped. Okay, and Burning-Tree Emissary Nest Invader blocks Elephant quite well. But they are down to 1 card left in hand. Okay, we get Nest Invader. So we can play the Nest Invader and the Ledgewalker. That does mean future Hunger of the Howl packs will be worse. But it gives us a creature that can attack. They have 1 card in hand. Attacking will be difficult for anybody. So far, I'm the only person that can attack easily. I have this 1 attack. If I get a Rancor here, that would be quite nice. Elephant Guide would be quite nice. Okay, so we can start attacking for 4 every turn. And leave everything else back as blockers. They can't block this, and they can't kill it with Savage Swipe. It has hexproof. Okay, that is pretty good. It is going to allow them to attack. We're going to double block the Elephant with Nest Invaders. And we might throw the Pit-Skulk under the bus for the Nest Invader. Okay, they don't offer that trade. Okay, we'll block like this. If they have 2 Hunger of the Howl packs, or a spell that gives their creature +2/+2, they could have gotten the better of us in combat, but they did not. Okay, we get Gutshot, so we can kill their Quirion Ranger with that. We're going to hold it for now. I think we just attack with the Ledgewalker. We could also attack with the other 2 creatures here, the Pit-Skulk and the Nest Invader. The Nest Invader would potentially trade against theirs. If they blocked the Pit-Skulk with the Nest Invader, we could Gutshot it. I think that it's fine to attack with a Nest Invader as well. And then we can leave the Pit-Skulk back in case they do something funny. Okay, so we take care of one of their 2/2s. It would be nice if the Gutshot would be lethal, but we can't be that lucky. So with 2 cards in hand, they could give the Burning-Tree Emissary +8/+8, which would be 10 damage. We would survive that. But with only 1 creature attacking, I feel like using the Pit-Skulk into Gutshot is the best option we have. This will prevent them from blowing us out. Although I don't believe that they would be able to. It is a possibility. And we'll just trade these 2 cards for their 1. Okay, so they have land in hand. In that case, I'm not going to use the Gutshot, in case on the next turn they draw a Vault Skirge. We'll attack with the elephant on the ledge, and then play Nest Invader pass. This will give us 2 blockers. We have no problem throwing the spawn under the bus. And we have Gutshot if they play a Vault Skirge. Perfect. Let's go to game 3 of match 5. I think I'm going to leave the deck the same. So we'll just go ahead and submit. We have access to a couple of bows and a Gutshot. And I think Epic Confrontation in order to kill their creatures. We have no lands here, so we're going to mulligan. We have 1 land in Quirion Ranger. We have Gutshot, Savage Swipe. Only 1 creature in the Quirion Ranger, which is dangerous, but I'm going to keep. We have to throw 1 card away. I'm thinking Rancor. We're going to want that Elephant Guide for sure. And we're hoping to hit a Quirion Ranger with the Gutshot. Okay, we get a Vault Skirge instead. We're going to hold on to the Gutshot in case they have a Rancor and be able to get him. Really hoping to see that Rancor come down right now, but we are not that lucky. We're only going to get the Vault Skirge. We are going to Gutshot it so they don't have access to Pit-Skulk with Bloodthirst this way. Although they could use Vines of Vastwood if they have it. Okay, there's the River Boa. That would be a nice thing to kill. Let's, okay, we find 0 land. But if they block the Quirion Ranger, their Boa's dead. And if they don't block the Ranger, I can Pit-Skulk, Savage Swipe it. And it will be dead. Okay, let's try. See what happens. Okay, they're not going to block it, so we'll play the Pit-Skulk. Play land. So we can either Savage Swipe it, or we can play Rancor. I think I'm going to just go ahead and Savage Swipe it, get it off the board. It's a tough choice, honestly. Because I'm not going to get value from the +2/+2. I would almost rather wait and just Rancor it now. But then I wouldn't have access to the Savage Swipe in the same way. We're going to get rid of the regenerating creature and pass. That's 2 creatures we've answered so far. Okay, they have another Vault Skirge. And a Rancor. Okay, so we can Savage Swipe that. They will gain the life, but I think that's worthwhile to get the creature off the board. No land again. So we could Savage Swipe it and then put Rancor on Pit-Skulk. Or we could play Nettle Sentinel. I would rather play the Nettle Sentinel. Okay, and we can play the Nettle Sentinel after combat to untap our Pit-Skulk. Okay, so next turn we're going to be looking to play Rancor on the Pit-Skulk. And our opponent concedes. They probably ran out of creatures, and that puts us at 3-2. Okay, so that's our league for today. Hope you all enjoyed it. And I'm going to be back again on Thursday to play more Pauper. If you'd like to check out any of my videos, I have a YouTube channel. You can find that in my links on my page, or just search YouTube for Cooper the Red, and you can find me there. I have a ferret face. Anyways, thanks for stopping by, and I hope you all have a great day. Cheers.